What's going on, people? Welcome to the live match reaction. Palace 0, Everton 0, a draw at home. We still remain unbeaten, but winless streak comes to an end. After, I feel like it was a disappointing draw, but we still take it. It's still massive in terms of, staying up and trying to keep the gap close to Chelsea. But as always, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And also, the lines will be open in just a second where you can click in and have your say via video. I'm joined by T here for the reaction. T, how you doing, bro? You're still on mute, just to let you know before you start talking.
I wasn't ready yet. I wasn't ready yet. I did.
I saved you there. You was gonna do me, but what did you make of that game? I just thought it was just mediocre. He could have went on for another 90 minutes, and I just really didn't see us winning.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, man, it's a Sean Deitch coached team, man. Like that's their whole thing. It's to just take everything, like just deflate your style of play, and that's very much was the feeling today. You know what I'm saying? You never felt like they were ever going to get it very much or score very much if it wasn't some type of wonder goal. And we just didn't have a lot going forward either. I mean, the few chances that we may have had, different things happening, offside, stuff like that. So, you know, just an, uh, an okay performance, but take the point, 4 unbeaten, move forward, man.
Yeah, I feel like it was also a game where the players that stepped up in previous games, we just didn't see them in this one. In honesty, especially going forward in attack, it wasn't, for example, Edouard's greatest game. It wasn't Eze's greatest game. Ayu, I thought had a pretty solid game
Yeah,
overall,
I
and
thought I
he's
did
probably
too.
one of our better players. Exactly, he looked
Hmm.
like, especially the first half, he looked like Ronaldinho at times, just literally chesting the ball with his just with a chest and just taking the piss out of the Everton defense, and it caused whole game problems all game long. But there wasn't anything wrong with our defense, and it's just
No,
I don't know. I'm just in a that kind of mood, like
just
it
yeah,
was it
it
was
was
it was a bit
lackluster. It was
uninspiring
lackluster.
based on our last three games. And we
Yeah,
expected a bit of a push in the second half. That didn't really happen, even when they had a red card.
yeah,
We just didn't have that many shots or any dangerous opportunities like that. What do you think
yeah.
about the shot situation? I feel like at times we're just trying to walk the ball into the net.
Yeah, it was a couple times. It just felt like they were just looking for that perfect opportunity. Like, I don't know. Towards the end of the game, Michael Elise had a great opportunity, and he just needed to take it on his right foot, and he just, I don't know. He was very casual, very cavalier, nonchalant. Took the ball down, tried to play a little dink pass into the middle, and just got caught in the wash. And it's just like, nah, man, you should be taking that shot there, But I don't know, man. It was just, yeah, it was just very lackluster. Could have had a better performance in a lot of ways. I mean, we still had some guys that had really good games. I felt like Czech Decory played really well.
Yeah.
Too, along with our back four. Um, I don't know. I mean, I you definitely would have wanted more out of that one for sure, but you know.
Yeah, I thought Decore is good. What do you make of that sub? Decore coming off. I was actually very surprised about that. Decore coming off for Luca. Maybe yellow card situation. Is that it?
Exactly. That's the first thing that popped in my head. It's just like, hey, if I'm Roy Hodgson, it's like, Everton's not really posing us a threat right at this point. It's kind of like save his legs a little bit, get him off with only 13 minutes left, and he doesn't get that red card, the yellow card. I mean, so I think that was just a preservation move more than anything else because even after Czech left the game, Everton, I mean, they were down a man. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so once they were down a man, you're not really worrying about too much. It was one of those things. I didn't really mind it too much, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Look, let's bring on some guests. If you guys want to join in and call into the show, you can click on the pinned comment in the comment section and join in like that. Next, first of all, let's bring forward Henry. Henry, Palace 0, Everton 0. Still unbeaten, but the winning streak
Yeah,
comes to an end. We make a begin.
yeah, mixed feelings really. Like similar feelings to you guys, I think. Kind of feel like a bit like meh, if you know what I mean. But I think it was just. I mean, to start with, really, I think it was a poor game. I don't think it was a game to remember really in terms of quality. I think Everton just came with a game plan and executed it quite well. And there was a lack of chances for both teams, but you have to respect the point. But I mean, obviously, it's frustrating not to win. It is, because I feel like it was there for us.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you'd have told me that we would have 10 points from 4 games, like under Roy, I think everyone would have been delighted with that. So yeah, it's a bit of a mixed one. I think when tomorrow or whatever, when the feelings sort of die down, I think we'll all sort of reflect on it and say, you know what, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the Wolves game, really, how we react to that game, because this game was, as you said, based on the last 3 games, they didn't really meet the expectation that we've seen. But also, you have to be realistic as well. With what are you expecting to the end of the season? I mean, I would be very surprised if we don't win like 10 games in a row. That would be very unlike Palace. But today, there were still decent performances. I thought the Corey was solid, the defense was solid as a whole. Who stood out for you the most?
I think Decore, actually, yeah, because I was very impressed with him. The way that he controlled the midfield, very composed, didn't anything silly. And I think Roy just brought him off towards the end because he was tired, I guess, and just to protect him from another yellow card. But yeah, I think it was difficult for us today. I feel like at times we did a few too many long balls. We found it quite hard to play through the middle. And I think maybe that's why Eze couldn't really get into the game like he did against Leeds and Southampton. So yeah, I think that was a bit. Ebbs just wasn't really in the game that much today, I think.
Yeah. So looking ahead to the next game against Wolves, what are your expectations for that game based on what you saw?
I don't know really. I mean, I don't really feel any different than I did before the match. I think. I mean, Wolves away is always a very tricky game, very tricky place to go. So I think I'll take a point there personally, and then hopefully beat West Ham, and then if we get a point at Molineux and 3 points against West Ham, safety guaranteed. But I mean, it depends really. It depends what kind of Wolves show up, because you never know. They're quite an unpredictable team, really. So are we. So who knows? Anything can happen, really. It's but yeah, it's a little bit of a anticlimactic game, you could say, today. But hey, we got a point out of it.
We move on. Yeah, exactly. We move on. There's another point gain, I guess, and we move on to the Wolves game. But look, Henry, really appreciate your time. Thank you for calling into the show.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Man, I think it's one of those things, D, man, like when I think about it, like I kind of like sitting in this particular result of what we just saw. But Henry made a good point, man. If before we started this string of matches with Roy at the helm, if you told me that we would get 10 points out of our first 4 matches, I'd be like, yo, give it to me.
That's crazy.
Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? So it's like,
it shows expectations, really. Yeah, because we've been very good in the last 3 games in terms of results wise. It just shows that even a point at home against Everton, like Everton didn't pick up more points to come closer to us. We're still level in terms of the points gap. But I guess it just depends on what we saw in the last 3 games compared to this game. Yeah. And just like that, it's a bit of a. It didn't really meet the expectations from what we've seen under Roy so far, but you're gonna have them quiet games. Unfortunately, that's how it goes. You can't win every single game in football. If we did, then right now we wouldn't be the position we're in. Literally.
And what we did against them still put them in relegation right now. They're still in the relegation zone after what we did.
They're in the relegation spots now. Exactly. They're in the relegation spots as well. Let's bring on Jamal next. Jamal, how you doing, bro? Palace 0, Everton 0. Winning streak comes to an end, but still another point gained.
Yeah, another point game. As everyone said, it was a lackluster game. Very meh.
Yeah, I agree. Well, why do you think it was? What was the difference in this game compared to the last 3 games that we've seen?
I believe it's probably reverting back to type. I don't think you have a magic wand with this team. If you look at certain players were in this team wasn't good at all. we had some serious issues in this team, especially up front. If you look at how Edward played, he just gave away the ball a lot. And Isaiah had an off day today as well. He gave away the ball a lot too as well. So it was that sort of game up front. But defensively, if you look at defensively, you would see that Mark Gear and was very, very good. I don't know if he's learning from Anderson, but his passes from left to right, crossfield passes, 56 yards, are fantastic. And then Anderson, we seen it for the last couple of seasons with him. So this season with him, so it was easy for him to just do it the other side to Ayu, and we could attack the flanks. So I mean, I praised him last time came on 2 weeks, but I believe Margie, if we can keep him, he could be a captain for Palace for a really long time. And also echo the sentiments for Ducouré as well. I didn't think Mitchell particularly had a good game, but he tried his best. But in general, I just believe that this team reverting back to type, like back to the Patrick Vieira last couple of games.
Yeah, and I guess it shows the one or two weaknesses in the side as well in terms of like depth up front. You mentioned with the striker position. I mean, we desperately need to improve there because I don't think Edward or Mateta is clearly the answer. And we saw it today when Edward came off, Mateta came on. I don't know what was really much different out there. But there was also some other subs that did come on. Luca came on. Hughes came on. I thought Hughes was involved quite a lot. What do you make of his sub appearance? There was a chance towards the end. He could have potentially took the shot and gave it to Elise.
He was good. He was very good. I thought Millie was very good as well when he came on. He helped set the tempo a little better than the Korea. Not saying that he should start, but against the 10 men, we did very well. He helped the team push up. He was a lot better than he was for a little while, but it was only 15 minutes. But he took the captain and ban. He did a captain job for 15 minutes, and he deserved the plaudits. I can't remember him making any mistakes. And with Hugh, yes, he could have done better with chance, but it wasn't clear cut. So
yeah. What do you make of the ref today? Lots of people talking about the ref. He did send off Holgate, but he did slow down the game quite a bit. There were some weird decisions when I was at the ground just watching it. It was frustrating because Everton will do one thing and we'll do the same thing, and literally they'll get away with it, but we won't. Do you think ref played a part?
I guess you probably, because you were at the ground, you probably had a better experience. But for me, watching on the telly, for me, it was neither here nor there. I guess if the Everton fans could say that he should have sent off Mitchell for the tackle on Damari Gray, the same way how the tackle on Holgate got sent off for RU challenge. So it wasn't, to be honest, he wasn't, to me, from what Ray was watching, he wasn't bad. I guess it was, and the game was very lackluster. It wasn't like we were dominating and he blew it against us. He's not a fantastic referee, but for the level of quality of the game, I don't think it was an issue.
Yeah. And looking ahead to the next game, of course, another difficult game, a side that's below us, right below us. They're trying to catch up to us. Wolves, they lost today against Leicester. I guess it will be another difficult game, but based on the positive that you saw today, do you think Roy should make a change if Wilf is fit now? Because I've come to the conclusion that for Edward, I'd rather, even though I hated it under Vieira, I'd rather try Wilf up front or Ayu up front and include both of them, because Edward or Mateta clearly ain't the answer. So do you think Roy would make that change, or would you like it to see changes against Wolves?
The same issue that Patrick Vieira had, Roy Hudson is having now. It's almost damn if you do, damn if you do, damn if you don't. People if you put Edward on the bench for 3 games, where you're not playing Edward this, Edward is that. Where you're playing Zaha out of position. Where you're not playing Mateta. You can't preach to the gallery when some of these players are just not good enough for where we want to go, right? And it's difficult to. Sometimes Edward has a good game once every 5 games. So he may have a good game and then he won't play any other 4 games. He doesn't trap the ball. He doesn't keep the ball. And the same thing with Zaha. It's not like Zaha's a point man. When the ball go in the air, he would never win it against Tarkowski and whoever is the other defender. So and the other guy, Mateta may win it. He may not win it, but most of the time he falls the defender because he's physical. So That's a very difficult question to answer. I don't think I'm qualified to answer if you should put Zaha up front or not, even though I'm a fan. But from a fan, all I can say is Roy has but 30 years experience dealing with footballers. So I guess I will leave it up to him, or whatever he says is best. I guess we have to go with, because it's not like you clearly put Zaha up front against certain teams that sit high back, is sit with a back to the honest to the top of the box. You got back line. Zaha, there's no room for him to work. Now, if you're playing against a team like Liverpool, for example, that has a high back line up to the half line, then Zaha could run a ball will be taught from either Margui, no, because he's very good at it, or Anderson, and he could get behind Van Dijk or Matip or whoever and score. But in games with these guys that are so far back, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. I think Zaha needs coming to the side. What do you think, T?
I think Zion needs to come into the side. I think what will probably more than likely happen is we'll see IU go up top. I mean, we've seen Roy play IU up top already. He moved them up there during the match so far since he's been in there. And then, when he was coaching before with us, he would play IU up top too. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see Zaha come back into the side on the left and then move IU up top.
Yeah, I agree.
And he has good hold up play. He has good hold up play too. I'm not let's not act like he can't get the ball stopped at his feet and bring other guys into it. I guess it's just a matter of how much he's willing to share the ball. But he definitely can do that part of the game.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like after what we saw today, you just have to make sure you can't keep Wilf on the bench and start Edward or Mateta, not just Edward. I mean, both of them, they're not offering much. They haven't been all season long. As Jamal said, they have one or two good games and then disappear for the next 5. Come back 1 or 2 good, disappear for the next 5. It's not consistent enough. Clearly, they're not good enough. And that's really it. So if you have Wilf available, you can't keep him on the bench because arguably on his day, he's one of our best attackers, if not our best attacker.
He is our best player. He is our best player.
Yeah. And I remember even against Leicester, like before he got out injured, he was actually playing solid, and he got injured, and that's it. So for me, Wilf, I mean, even if Edward played well today, keeping Wilf out the side is crazy to me. It's crazy to me because of how good he can be and a threat going forward. So Jamal, lastly, against Wolves, would you be happy with another point, or is it a game that you're looking to win?
I think we should try to win that game, but if we get a point, it's not the end of the world. We'll be 1 point further away from the drop zone.
I agree, bro. Jamal, really appreciate you taking the time, bro. Have a good day, and hopefully we'll catch up with you again.
Appreciate it, man.
Take care.
All right.
That was Jamal having to say, look, T, there's gonna be that debate. I mean, we're gonna have the preview out tomorrow. There's gonna be lots of content coming up ahead of the Wolves game. So if you haven't already done so, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to this stream. And that game now, there's more of a talking point. Leading up to Everton game, it was a case of, everything is fine. We're 3-3. Why do you need to change your winning side? We're taking shots. We're not conceding any goals. I mean, we didn't concede any goals today, but I guess it gives us a bit more of a talking point ahead of that Wolves game, because there's 1 or 2 things that you can question whether the players should change, whether the system should change, depending on how you see things. But there's lots of talks about Wolves and his attack, and also about Everton. What do you make of Everton today? Because I thought they were solid defensively as well. So do you have to give them credit? No?
I mean, I think they were decent. I think we definitely had our chances against them to score. Like, they weren't. I wouldn't say that they just did an unbelievable job defending, because we had our opportunities. We just didn't take them, to be quite honest with you. But I mean, they did well enough to get the result that they got. I mean, all credit to them for the clean sheet. But I think it was more about what we didn't do and less about what they did do, to be honest with you.
Yeah. A says, irrespective of a decent run, and I'd happily take the draw. Everton have a lot to play for, and the Dash team are always going to be hard to break down. Poor performance, but we'll be back with a vengeance. That's what A says. Look, we take the point, but it's just a performance, really. I guess you're facing the Dash side that's trying to stay up, and that's the case. But saying that, they drop spots because Leicester won the game, so they're still in a relegation battle, and I guess we don't drop down there, and it's another point. But it's just about getting that momentum, and I guess we're still only 2 points behind Chelsea as well, so it's not that bad.
Yep.
And we're closing the gap there. So yeah, look, it's not a bad point. It's not a bad point. It's just a performance that kind of agitated me more than anything. I don't even know if agitated is the right word.
Just expect more.
You know,
expect more.
Yeah. Expect more from even from the likes of Ebbs. You know, last 3 games he was fantastic. Today, he wasn't. Look, we talk about Edward. He wasn't really at it. You know, he's been one of our key players. I think Elise tried to create a few things, but Ebbs wasn't on the ball as much. That's what I thought, anyways.
I feel like I feel like we played through the left hand side a lot more than we did in games past. Like we played through IU on that left side a lot between him and T Mitch and a little bit of Schlupp in there. We played a lot on the left comparatively to playing on that right hand side with Elise and Ebbs too. That was one thing, especially in the first half, I'd say.
But when we did go down the right hand side, did you see enough combinations from the likes of Elise and Eze? Because I feel like when they combine, that's when we cause threats. It just seems like Elise and
I found myself still wanting more from when we did. They were doing a good job of really overloading that side whenever we got it over there. You know what I'm saying? Doubling guys. It seemed like out of everybody, Joel Ward was the one that had the most space, which is kind of understandable when you got the attacking prowess of guys like Ebbs and Elise. I mean, they had their moments, but in those type of games, when you're not going to have a lot of clear-cut chances, you know, you just got to make them count, you know. So, unfortunately, it just wasn't the case today.
Yeah. Let's bring on AJ, who's, I think, going back home from the game. Let's get his thoughts on the game. If you guys want to call in, make sure to click on the pinned comment to have your say. AJ, how's it going, bro? Draw, still unbeaten. What do you make of it all?
Frustrating afternoon, lads. Oh, man. 2 points, because I can't stay long. I think defensively we were solid. We were decent today. I felt like, you know, defenders did their job. A couple of bits where a certain man got exposed, but, you know, that's for another time. And I felt like the wingers defensively did their jobs today. I think Elise defensively was pretty above standard, to be fair, and even I as well. We got in their faces. Because Everton came with an aggressive game and we stepped up to that. But up front, we were toothless today, man. We were absolutely whatless up front. Eddie, man, Edward, he looked like he couldn't be bothered. Like, it just looked like he just couldn't be bothered to do anything today. He just had almost like a nonchalant kind of vibe to him, which is very, very surprising. I'm you know, considering what we've got out of him for the past few weeks, it just looked like he was tired. They just couldn't quite get in the third. And obviously we were robbed of a goal from a tight offside, is what it is. Can't do anything about it. VAR checked it. The second point, the standard of refereeing in the Premier League is abysmal.
It's terrible.
Today, that referee was awful. The amount of chances and that mate, like, how Mason Holgate eventually got sent off, I will never know, because at one point he had IU in a chokehold. Calvert-Lewin was kicking and ripping people to shreds.
Calvert-Lewin should have had a card in the first half and been almost kicked out in the second half because when he finally did get the card.
Yeah, the standard of this is supposed to be the best league in the world, right? Especially commercially. How we cannot have the best standard of referees to match and suit that, I'll never understand and I'll never know. And the linesmen, aren't their jobs are to assist the referee and let the referee know when there is something he cannot see. And he didn't do none of that today. Like, the liberties that the Everton were taking today, and I hate blaming referees for games, but I tell you what, the liberties that Everton were taking today, right, were just shocking. Like, they got away with some dark arts of football today, I tell you what. But overall, man, it was just a frustrating game. You know, we got a point, but I don't think like Everton looked like scoring at any point today. I think Johnson was pretty covered in terms of goal, but up front we were crap.
Yeah, just 2 things I want to bring up. So with the Edward situation, you said that he looked a bit tired. Do you think it's a case of fatigue, or was it just an off game? Because we're coming towards the end of the season. I don't know.
I think I've always said, right, from what I've always seen in games, is Edward doesn't jump for headers. Edward likes ball to foot or ball to feet, essentially.
Yep.
And what Everton were very clever at, which people didn't, I don't know if anyone's brought up yet, is they isolated a lot of our creative play. So in the middle, Eze was isolated because when he actually got his goal, it was actually him coming from the right-hand side and cutting into the left and then getting the caption onto the through. They isolated Eze very well today, and they attempted to isolate our wingers today. Henceforth, why Holgate eventually got sent off, because it wouldn't have surprised me if Dyche's game plan was isolate their creative play today. I actually disagree with the fact that Eze was poor. I think he wasn't as effective, and obviously he was not the best goal, but actually he was relatively quite creative today. But you know, because obviously he's got 3 and 2, I think a lot of people were expecting him to get the goal for us. I thought Elise was also quite dominant, and I thought Ayew absolutely had Holgate on toast. Henceforth, why ended up getting sent off because he couldn't contain it. But in terms of that final third, man, and rightly so, when Mateta came on, he was just as useless. He was just kind of running. The only differential between the two is Mateta can win the headers, or is capable of winning the headers.
I don't know if that's true, man. I'm sorry. I don't know if that's true.
Against Tarkowski and against Keane, hear me out though. Against Tarkowski and against Keane, no point of doing Edouard. And the reason why Edouard was definitely toothless today is because we were doing a lot of route one. Anderson, Gay, and Johnson was spraying it up to the top, and then Eddie was just not even attempting to jump for these headers. I think he only won 1 or 2 headers in the second half, from what I saw. So, for me, it was definitely a classic case of, you know, Everton's game plan isolating our attack. It worked. There was a couple of times we broke through, but it was just a frustrating day, man. I mean, we still got the point, but I felt like we definitely could have got more of that, and we definitely could have been more creative. With Wolf in the side, maybe it would have been a different outcome. He's not there. It didn't happen, so we wouldn't know. But definitely a frustrating office. But the person that pissed me off the most today was definitely the ref. He was awful. And for the Premier League, that's so most viable.
Would you blame the, because you mentioned the ref a few times, do you blame the ref for that result? Because I don't think so.
No. I agree with you to an extent of I can't blame him for the result. But at the same time, and outcomes of certain situations would have affected the game. Better decision. If he reined Calvert-Lewin and booked him earlier, maybe he would have got sent off. Maybe he wouldn't have been elbowing and dragging players down to the ground and headlocking guys. At one point, I thought I was watching the UFC, because the way that certain guys were getting choked out, it looked like it should have been on ESPN 1 o'clock in the morning, or 10, 11 o'clock for the Americans. Hear me out. But there was definitely some very, very dodgy decisions that I did not like today. I was very surprised when he eventually sent off Holgate, because at one point, I just thought it was just never going to happen. Then there was delayed decisions, and the linos just weren't really attempting to assist him either. Poor standard of refereeing from the Premier League, bro. And I'll stick by that, because that's not the first time we've seen poor standard of refereeing at Selhurst Park, much less other games in the Premier League. I'm pretty sure if you ask fans of every Premier League team, they'd probably contribute to that as well themselves. That's just my opinion. Yeah. Whether it affected the outcome, whether it would have affected the outcome of the game, that's neither here or there. But I definitely think there's a shout that Holgate should have been sent off earlier, because he nearly goddamn chokeslam Ayew 3-4 times. There's definitely a shout for whatever was going on in the middle of the park with what's his name, Gay. He was doing some nasty stuff, and Garner got off away with a few nasty ones, and Calvert-Lewin elbows everywhere. Now I understand that they changed the rules in the Premier League a little bit, obviously with the arms and stuff, but come on, bro. But I can't stay long, boys. That's all I just wanted to say, man. It's a point gained at the end of the day. Everton are still in a relegation zone, so God willing, we might see them in the Championship, and hopefully they'll never come back, because I'm tired of them and Dyche. Just drop them. But at the same time, the point game for us still in a position of securing our Premier League safety, and I pretty much think it's a sure thing that we're staying up now. I think we go again against Wolves, and then fingers crossed, touch wood, we kick on from there, man.
Yeah. Look, we'll talk about the Wolves game in the preview. That's why I didn't ask about it, because we'll have the preview release in a day or two about the Wolves game. But yeah, look, it's a point gain, and we move on. That's how I see it. But we gave Everton 4 points this season. That's the one thing I can't get over. 4 points this season. I mean, we can't believe that we lost 3-0 to them. at their ground as well. That was something else. And that's another frustrating thing. But look, here's what it is. We get a point and we move on. But AJ, I'll catch up with you in your player ratings.
Yeah, boys, I got to bounce, man. But take it easy. Up the palace, man. Like and subscribe, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, see,
all right, big dog.
AJ knows. All right, then, take care, bro. That was AJ. If you guys want to call in and have your say, let us know. There's a comment here which caught my eye, and it's from Trey. He says, "New manager bounce done." Would you agree with that? Is that a bit, getting ahead of ourselves?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. I mean, not even that. I truly believe in the whole idea of the new manager bounce. But I don't. I think we're still in a position where we're still undefeated, and we have our next match is very, very winnable because if we go to Wolves and we win on Tuesday, then do you say new manager bounces back on? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't really believe in the whole thing, but in that ideal of it, it's like if we come and win another one, and now we've won 4 out of the last 5, and we're undefeated in 5, is the new manager bounce still there? So I don't know.
I mean, we're still unbeaten. Yeah, we're still unbeaten. I guess it depends on the run of games. But then again, I mean, even if we pick up like 3 or 4 draws and we don't win that many games, I guess Roy's come in and done a decent job because he kept us up. No more than a decent job.
Exactly. Because we
comfortably. Yeah.
Because we had 10 games to go and we're comfortable after 4. Like we're good after 4. Like, and that's what I was saying when we were talking about when we had the show and we were talking about.
I was gonna mention that. Yeah, I said 12 points. And
yep,
we already got 10.
I had 13. I had 13 total, and we're at 10 right now. You know what I'm saying? So like that's huge, man. Like, and I think for us as fans, with everything that was going on and how the meltdown was starting, around the time that Vieira got let loose and everybody was, relegation threats and worried about that. It's like, yo, like after 4, we're good. Y'all can chill. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and we said it then that it would be very hard if we got 13 or 12 points, whatever. I think my one was 12 and your one was 13. Or was it 14? 13?
It was 13.
Yeah.
13.
Yep. Yeah, 13. We even said it. We looked at the league table, said that there's no, like, if we get them points, it's going to be very hard for us to go down. That's still like that's nearly like over 40 points. So look, we're fast tracking that route. We didn't expect it to be this quick. When we done that show, we didn't expect it to be this quick. And we just have to pick up another, for my sake, another 2 draws, and for your sake, just another win. Or another win, and we've over exceeded.
Because I think actually, I had us going 3, 4, and 3 to get to our point total. So at this point, for what I was looking at, is like we could get draws the rest of the way and be good, But let's win some more. Forget it.
What do you think about these Matetas taking root? There's people getting on to Mateta about a jumping ability. I was going to bring up AJ about it.
Hey man, every time we have a ball that is hoofed up to us from the back or a corner, I literally watch just him. I really do. And that he cannot jump. Like, it's not even, he's trying. I think he's actually trying. He just can't do it, man. Like, I don't know. Like, we just have 2 strikers that cannot play with the ball in the air. I mean, that's just the reality of it. Can't do it.
I'm trying to figure out the reason, but I don't understand how a human can't jump. Like, he looks healthy. He seems like he's got good knees. Like, he can play football. So I guess the knees.
I still say to this day, he's overweight. Confused. I still think he's overweight.
Okay, honestly. So you think that's the reason why he can't jump?
I think Mateta is overweight, and I think he's been overweight for a while now with us, to be honest. Because like when you watched him when he was like at Mainz, he was a lot more slim, a lot more fit. And I don't know if it was the fact that you come to London and you start living the good life in the big city and eating good, whatever it is, and the fact that he wasn't playing that much. He looks overweight. And a lot of times, if you see when he's in the match, he gets tired really quickly. And it's because I don't think he's in great shape either. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if it's anything like that has to do with it. But like some of it, man, it just looks like it just looks like he just isn't athletically inclined enough to get up and get the ball. I don't know.
Yeah. Talking about the priorities in the summer, based on this game or what you've seen like all season long, do you think striker's number one priority in the summer?
No.
It's,
Unfortunately, as much as we're talking about striker in this show, I don't think it is. I think right back
what
is
position?
still the number one
back,
priority. Yeah. Right back, and then I think center midfield and striker are probably a tie. If not, if we lose Wilf, then I think left winger elevates to number 2 behind right back.
Oh yeah, it's hard. I think, yeah, right back and a striker. I think we desperately need to improve in them positions. Like that's the desperation. And then in other positions, there's sort of room for improvement, but that's more like depth reason and like trying to get better. But we need to sign a striker and a right back this summer, and they're not going to be cheap because, as Tim is saying, strikers are expensive at every level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's not going to be easy to find out. And in the Palace news shows that we've been doing, we haven't been linked with that many strikers. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, you're definitely right in saying that. I can't think of.
Yeah, I can't really think of many strikers that we've been linked with so far.
But to be honest with you, man, D, is that a good thing that we're not like? Because people aren't on to the guys that they're not on to the guys that we might be scouting, we might be looking at and looking to bring in. That might be a good thing.
Yeah. Potentially, depends on who the strikers are that we will.
And the thing about it is, there's some strikers out there from, I guess, what you could say lesser leagues that could possibly come in and do well for us. I guess it's just a matter of if we're actually looking at them. But there are definitely some guys out there that I feel like we can bring in for an amount that we can afford for sure. But it's just a matter of it working out. You know what I mean? Like, everybody really wanted Edouard when we were getting them from Celtic. I don't think there was I don't remember hearing very much criticism of us acquiring him. I think everybody was very excited about when he got here, and it hasn't been what we wanted it to be for one reason or another. But I mean, it's part of the game. You go again, try to scout somebody else and bring them in and make it work.
Yeah. What do you think of Sam Johnson? Once again,
hey man, Sam Johnson looking good, man. Sam Johnson. I
made a decent save in the game. I see
why he was in the England squad. I see why he made the team. He's really good with his feet. He does it. The one thing I think a lot of his saves that he makes is because he's really good at anticipating where the ball's gonna, like what side the ball's gonna be hit to. I mean, that save he had on Iwobi, extremely impressive. And I think a big part of it was because he just did a really good job of understanding where that shot was going to try and be placed. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think he's been great, man. His distribution has been really good. He's great with the ball at his feet. I don't ever worry about him in those aspects. And he's a really good shot stopper. So shout out to him, man. I mean, he's been playing for 5 matches and he's got 4 clean sheets.
Exactly. And I was thinking about that as well during the game. There might come a time where we talk about, when teams do comparison with this player, they've got this many wins and this many clean sheets. Without this player, they've got, this many. I feel like Sam Johnson will reach that stage. Like with him at the back, we're keeping, we're not conceding that many goals. Of course, the defense plays a part, but once the defense is broken, he's very reliable. Like he's been reliable not only in this game, even in like the Leeds game in the first half. He saved us. Without his saves, we don't probably have that second half because we're probably like 2 goals down.
And you're watching that match, and the opposing goalkeeper is England's number 1 in Pickford.
And Southgate was there today. That's
Southgate was there.
I don't know if he showed enough to Southgate, which is frustrating. Southgate picks this game, and I've all the games.
I mean, but don't get me wrong, Ebbs didn't play bad, man. Ebbs almost scored for us, and he forced Pickford to make a hell of a save, and that would have been a goal. That was a shot on target. Eze would have scored that ball, but that was a really great. Like that's what I'm saying. You can't not give the credit to a guy like Pickford. Pickford played a really good game too. He had some good stops. Like there was that one cross that got put in, and if he wouldn't have snagged it clean, if it would have ended up being a Apari, that would have been a goal for us. Like, we played against a high quality keeper today. And he had a good game. He had a good match. I'm not going to
Yeah,
fault
but
him for
how
that.
good of a
He
game
looked
did he
good.
have though? How good of a game did Pickford have though? I mean,
I just
I
gave you
expect,
two great. I just gave you two great saves that he had that would have been goals. Like, literally, if as they placed that one ball in the lower corner perfectly, a very controlled shot, and he had to dive all the way down and to his left to fingertip that ball away. That was a fantastic save.
Oh
He
yeah,
had.
that was in the second half.
And then
Yeah,
that
in the second
cross,
half.
that cross that ended up that was really low that he snagged clean. That cross that he stopped. If that most other goalkeepers, like last week with Bazunu, if he can't get that clean and it comes off, we're gonna score a goal like Eze did last week off of that
But
one.
I think the way you're describing them shots, I think that shows a bigger problem from the game. Our best opportunities were a shot from like outside the box. It was like a cross. We didn't have that many opportunities where the ball went in the center, where we took, we was in good position. We just didn't get in good positions in the final third. And I think that was our troubles in this game. We was all right in possession and defensively, but in the final third, in terms of getting the ball into the penalty area, you can say Everton done a decent job in terms of keeping the ball
Yeah,
out in the
they. I
positions.
mean, I think part of
But
that
we
was the
just
way that
didn't
they
do it.
defended.
And I expect the goals, as you said, we had one or two good opportunities. I expect the goals 0.49, not that great. Everton 0.42. Expect the goals doesn't show the full picture, of course, but it shows the position that you were in to to take them shots. And I just don't think we get in the positions, and that's why both teams wasn't expected to score a goal, and pretty similar on both levels. I think it was a game of both defenses just stepping up to the plate. I think Everton done a good job defensively, and we've done a good job defensively, but maybe we could have we could have done a bit better in the attack, especially when we did have the ball in the final third. Look, A also says the number one shirt is now Sam Salu's. You can't drop him after his performances. I agree. Sam Johnson.
I agree.
I've been waiting for this moment literally since he joined. I really want to see a run of games of Sam Johnson to see whether he can step up when Guaita, leaves or Guaita retires, depending on how things go. And right now, he's giving me that confidence. Before, I just didn't know. I can't judge a goalkeeper that hasn't played. And these run of games has given me a bit more confidence in terms of Sam Johnson and his future at the club, because goalkeeper was another position I was looking at. I was looking at goalkeeper thinking, do we need to sign another goalkeeper? Because what is happening with Sam Johnson? Is he good enough? But now we're answering them whilst also staying up in the league as well, because he's contributed to that. Which is another positive. And distribution has also been decent as well. He's good with the long balls, but with the
he's
short
good with
balls
both
as well.
feet. He's really good with both feet too. One thing I've really paid attention to him also is how he plays with both his left and his right foot, and he does a good job. He does a good job with both of his feet. So,
and I don't know if you remember, T, but he's been linked with a move away from the club. West Brom was one of those potentially if they was to get promoted, and there was a few other clubs. I can't lie and say I remember them, but I remember having a show talking about Sam Johnson and being linked with a move away from the club.
yeah,
Based on these performances, do you keep him? Or
absolutely.
Or,
Just because of the fact that it definitely benefits us much more to go into next season having two guys that are extremely reliable in between the sticks, rather than just getting rid of one and like if we just got rid of him and then we're just relying on now Guaita and our youth guys. Guaita's getting older. He gets hurt. We're in trouble, man. You know what I'm saying? And even then, what we talked about is as much as this fan base owes to Vince and how good he's been and how much we love him. There are certain weaknesses to his game that you've seen that we aren't seeing with Sam Johnston. You know what I'm saying? And what he's able to do. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's one of those things like naturally when if you're talking about like outfield players, when guys aren't getting a lot of playing time and they're not on the pitch or they're not in great form, naturally rumors start to emerge about them possibly moving away. But when you start playing well and you start, finding better form and finding game time, a lot of stuff goes away. So I think we would be silly to get rid of him at this point, man. Like, you know the type of uproar it would be if we just up and just got rid of him after the way he's played in these last 5 matches?
But I think we have to give him assurances, though. I don't. Why would you want to say if he's got that quality? We have to give him assurances.
I agree. I agree. And my assurance would be the fact that starting right now, you're in goal. I'm not taking you out. Like, you got it. You know what I'm saying? This is your position to lose. And I think that is an assurance right there. If my manager, if my club comes to me and says, "Hey man, this is your position to lose. You got it." That's confidence in me. Yeah. That's saying that we believe in you until you no longer believe in you, or you show us that you're not the guy.
Yeah. He just has to keep it up. Yeah. And I got faith that he will keep up. We're seeing the best of Johnson, I feel like, right now, and the reason why we signed him. And it seemed like that was a good deal as well. One of those squad depth options in the summer that's proven out well. Even with the likes of Chris Richards, in a few games he stepped up to the plate as well, and we saw how much of a good player that he can be. Rainbow says top 6 with Roy Ball next season. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Look, we're doing well. We've done fantastic so far in his last 4 games. I mean, still unbeaten, three wins out of the last 4 games. But as I said, over time, when you keep a manager, especially what we know Roy, we know what to expect. But as it goes on longer, it could get a bit, predictable. It could get a bit stale. So exactly. I want Roy to have the best end to the season.
Just let him finish
and a proper send-off.
Season.
Exactly. I just want him to have a proper send-off. I don't want it to get toxic again under Roy, because when he last left us, it was toxic. And for now, if he keeps us up, we just need to move on as a football club as well. Like, we can't expect, Roy Hodgson to manage us forever. He's been here before and we know what to expect. So, yeah. Dee T says, yes, boys, another clean sheet, 100%. And Johnson played a part to that. Luke says, we're proved now. Let's move. I need some silverware now. We're not getting silverware anytime soon. I'll tell you that. Not this season anyways.
Not this year.
But, yeah, exactly. But next year, depending on the manager, depending on who we sign, then that should be the goal, right, T? This year, we're talking about staying up. But next year, you just ideally want to push on. You don't want to, give away 4 points to a struggling side against Everton, with all due respect. I mean, losing.
Hey, I will take. You know what? We sit here and talk about it. I will take giving away 4 points to Everton if they get relegated. I will take it. I'm just saying. I will take it.
So let's say, who would you want to get relegated? Not who you think.
Who do I want to get relegated?
Yeah.
Everton, Southampton, Leicester.
Let us know in the chat as well. Not who you think. Who would you want to get relegated?
Yeah, Everton, Leicester.
Don't say Chelsea, because Chelsea is not going to be realistic. Out of the realistic options right now. Because I just want to see the general consensus with how we're thinking as a fan base. Like, who would you want? I'm pretty sure Everton's going to come up a lot, not just from this game, but based on the past 1 or 2 years. But it'd be interesting to see the other slots. Like, who would Palace fans want to get relegated?
And giving you some context to why.
Leicester stays up.
The reason why I give you that context of why I wanted that is because I think that's the beauty of relegation and promotion, is the fact that even the most established teams at the highest level can go down. You know what I'm saying? And that's the beauty of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and part of me wants to see them go down because I want to see them fight to get back up. You feel me? Like, I want to see Everton scrape claw and try to get back up, because we know with these more established sides, if they go down, it's going to be a fire sale on some of their guys. So that immediately means that they're going to have to work their tails off when they get down into the championship to try and get back. So I think part of it for me is just the enjoyment of what this game is and what relegation and promotion really is in football. So I think it's fun. It just lets you know that anybody can go down. I mean, I think this is something like Everton's been in the Prem for 40 plus years. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, send them down, man. Let's see what happens.
Send them down. Colin says Southampton, Everton. I'm seeing a few West Hams. Which my good friend Lawless wouldn't be happy about that.
I would love to see.
For me, I don't want West Ham to go
give
down.
West
I just
Ham
don't want
Everton
West Ham to
the
win the
league.
trophy. I don't want West Ham to win that trophy. That's what I'm like about. I just don't want West Ham to win the Conference League because they're not gonna stop. They're never gonna stop.
Wait. Okay. Here's the scenario I want to present to you, D, and I want to know how you feel about this because I was thinking about this earlier. Would you want West Ham to win the Conference League if it means that Brighton does not get European football next year?
Bro, what type of question are you asking me?
It's a reality. It is a reality. Think about it. It is a reality, bro. Think about where Brighton is right now.
Bro, so ask your question again. I'm so tired. I've slept like God knows how many hours in the last 2 days.
Okay, think about it. Think about it. If West Ham wins the Conference League, they automatically get Europa next year.
Yeah.
Which means that a spot is then taken away from a spot is then taken away from our allocation in our top teams, which could mean that Brighton doesn't get European football because West Ham got. So would you rather see West Ham in the European football, or would you rather see Brighton in European football next year?
That's like asking.
I know my answer. I want to hear you.
That's like asking, would you rather get a shot on your left leg or your right leg? Like
you want to get shot in your ass or shot in your face?
Yeah, exactly. Literally. Yeah, I would rather. Okay, I'd rather West Ham because I feel like West Ham, if they go Europa League, they're not going to do anything there.
They might want to get relegated next year.
As long as and that means Brighton won't. That means Brighton won't get European football. But literally, it's just I'd rather see West Ham do that. But then again, in an ideal scenario, I genuinely don't think West Ham will win the Conference League. Someone said left leg.
Damo said left leg. Which one is the left leg? Who is the left leg, Damo?
I don't know. Left leg. Wolves F1 or FI says Everton has been relegated last time 1951, promoted back in the Premier League. In 1954, played there since then, second longest streak after Arsenal. Interesting, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. This thing is second longest streak after Arsenal, bro. Like
that's crazy.
How fantastic!
But if they go down, if Everton do go down, they're in trouble. They are in big trouble, not because they went down, but financially as well.
Yeah, so I'm saying
not like the same
it's
with other clubs. You get it? It's not the same with other clubs. That's the.
And they're building a brand new stadium too. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's trouble. That's trouble on the Mary side, man.
Yeah, lots of people best spam, wet spam. I'll have to see I'd love to see West Ham facing Millwall. Let's just say that. I'd love to see that. Yeah. That'll be good. That'll be good in the Championship, not in the Premier League, because that's the last thing I want. Millwall to get promoted to the Premier League as well. I've got enough stress in my mind than to deal with all three of them at the same time. But T, before we wrap it up, look, we got just quick brief chat on Wolves. Is it a case of another point aiming for in that game? We're going to talk about in the preview anyways, but based on what you saw today, it wasn't the most. If we play like that, I guess a point would be decent because I don't think we'll win games if we play like that.
The thing is, I think a point is always going to be an admirable, especially at this point of the season. I think a point is always going to be in admirable situations, but of course, a point can look very different. It could be, a situation where we feel like we should have won the game and it'll get in the point, or we were on the edge of losing and we got one. But I feel like we should be trying to win it, man. I mean, they're coming off of a loss against Leicester. You know what I'm saying? So there's some vulnerability in that, and we're still 4 undefeated. So I understand that we're on the road, and of our 3-match win streak, 2 were on the road. So I think we should be going for the win, man. To be completely honest with you.
Yeah, we should be going for the win, and plus they lost today against Leicester, and I'll be honest, against Wolves, we'll talk about in the preview, but against Wolves lately, we've been getting some good results and some decent.
Yeah, and but my only worry, they've been playing well. Yeah.
My only worry is I don't know why, but I remember during lockdown we faced Wolves away, and I think it was Mitchell's first game. It was his debut, I believe, or maybe his second game. And Chare absolutely ruined us. Not that they haven't, but we've also
that was a long while. But we've also dominated them.
But it's a different squad. Yeah, it's a different squad. With this current squad, we've dominated them. But under Roy, I don't know why that game. I just remember. I remember doing a watch along that game.
But it's not a Roy. But it's not a true. But we're not playing true counterattack Roy ball either anymore. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we won't have to revisit that.
Yeah, 100%. But look, Man City are winning 3-0. So that gives me a bit more optimism. So as long as Man City are in the final, and even if it's Brighton, then that gives better chances, because I have faith in City, man. I have faith in City to do the job. They gave me the faith against Arsenal. I feel like they'll do the job against Arsenal, and if they do the job against Brighton, I'm happy because I don't know many City fans. So as long as City win the treble, no one's gonna come to me and talk rubbish. Let's just say that.
True, very true.
Exactly. No one's gonna talk rubbish. But if Arsenal and Brighton, oh damn. Let's just say that. I don't want to think about that. I think we'll beat Wolves comfortably, says A. But look, we'll have the Wolves chat and more. The opposition preview will be coming out tomorrow, and the Wolves preview most likely out on Monday. If you guys have enjoyed this match reaction, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. We'll be back on Tuesday, once again, talking about the Wolves game. Hopefully, a positive result and a positive performance. But that's it from me and T. Thank you to every single one of you that's been tuning in, that's been liking and subscribing. We really appreciate you as a lot. And I'm not just saying that just for the sake of it. Genuinely do. Let's keep the channel growing, people. But that's it from me and T. And until next time, up the Palace.
Up the Palace.